I just finished a assessment on a home that the property owner has a lot of mold in the basement. This gentleman, man, he doesn't have two nickels to rub together, but he has a lot of mold and he's suffering from it. The reason for me talking to you about this is because sometimes you're going to run into situations, or maybe you have a situation in your own home where you cannot afford to hire a professional to do the remediation for you. And this happens to me pretty frequently, so that's the topic of the conversation here. The first order of business is to figure out a way to help him understand how to remove the mold and how to protect himself during the process, and then how to try to prevent it from spreading into the rest of the house. When I start a conversation like this with someone, I make really sure that they understand that my recommendations to them do not follow any national remediation standard, and that you're not going to get a final product as well as what a professional company can do for you, and that they understand the risks involved. And this is not the way that I do it. What you have to do is, when it's on overhead floor joists, you can't remove the mold off the overhead floor joist looking up and not protect your eyes and your breathing. So I say, if you're going to do this, you're going to have to buy a full face respirator. 3M sells a good product, and we use that. If you're doing the removal of the mold, you don't want that debris to fall into your face. And if you can wear a suit, some kind of disposable thread suit, or you can wear a jumpsuit and throw it in the laundry immediately. And then the other thing is you need to have a HEPA vacuum. So the respirator is going to cost you about $110, something like that. The HEPA vacuum, get a real HEPA vacuum, not some of these HEPA vacuum wannabe products. You're going to spend $400, $450 on a HEPA vacuum, and it's identified as being HEPA. That means that it filters 99.9% anything greater than 0.3 microns. And then his basement is divided into 4 rooms. So you you choose a window at one end, and you install a fan or several fans blowing out. And then you open the windows on the other side of the basement so that you have intake and exhaust. You have a route of air to flow from one end to the next. And if you have dead air spaces, like a room that doesn't have any windows, is kind of isolated by itself, you have to put in some kind of a small snail fan or small fan to create the disturbance that, as the particulate load on the outside is reducing, that material that's being released is coming into that mainstream and then leaving the house. Use soap and water. Don't use any kind of mold-begone chemical. All you care about is removing the mold. You don't care about killing anything. So Dawn dishwashing liquid is what we use, about a tablespoon per gallon, and that'll give you the surfactant property that you're looking for. First, you HEPA vacuum the floor joists, and then you wipe it off with a soapy cloth, and you do the ceiling. You work from the top down, so you work from the ceilings down the walls, and then you clean the floor. If there's a carpet on the floor, you have to cover it with plastic or remove it. You don't want to do this kind of work and have it dribble down and land in the carpet. That's a no-no. You don't do that. So, and then the caveat is you do this 3 times. And don't forget, if you're in a basement, you've got all the water piping, you've got the areas on top of your HVAC ductwork, and probably no one has ever cleaned that since original construction. So just be prepared that it's going to be very, very, very debris-loving services. So, but you have to clean from the top with HEPA vacuuming and wiping with a soapy cloth, from the ceilings and the piping down the walls, and then the floor. He was asking me about walls. Why am I cleaning the walls? And I said, well, if you have a colony over here, you know that the material has been breaking off and shedding off spores, and you treat this area over here like a dust. So to clean the entire area, it's not just the colonies. You have to clean everything, including contents. So I told him it would take 7 days for a well-trained two-man crew to do this work. And his eyes popped because he's going to spend every weekend for probably 2 months doing this because he doesn't have a clue really except what I'm telling him. So don't use power washing. People have asked me about that. So just be careful, do whatever's needed to protect yourself from this, first of all, and then try to protect the house because you're going to create millions of spores during this activity. You don't want it to go into the house. Also, turn off the furnace or the air conditioner. You don't want to have air being sucked into the system and distributed through the whole house during this process.